Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Human K Channel and our trip into the interesting world of Jungian psychology. Today, we'll learn more about Carl Jung's life and ideas. Jung was a famous psychologist whose experiences and observations led him to a new way of thinking about people. Join us as we figure out the secrets of the unconscious, look into the ideas of energy and balance, and find out how Jung's ideas have changed modern psychology in a big way. Jung's hard childhood and vivid dreams helped him build his ideas about people. His own problems affected how he thought about the human mind, giving him a unique view that was different from that of his colleague, Sigmund Freud. Jung changed Freud's idea of libido, making it mean a wider range of life energy. He saw libido as a dynamic force that drives the mind, and he stressed how important it is in shaping a person's identity. Jung's method was already different from Freud's, but this was just the beginning. Jung, unlike Freud, thought that both the past and the future played a big role in shaping a person's identity. He also put even more stress on how powerful the unconscious mind is. Join us as we try to figure out how the unconscious mind works and how much it affects our lives. Jung used the word libido in two completely different ways. First, as a general term for life energy. Second, as a special term for the energy that drives the mind. Jung's theory is hard to understand if you don't understand these two parts. Jung said that emotional energy is governed by three basic rules: opposites, equivalence, and entropy. The idea of opposites says that each part of the mind has its own opposite, which creates mental energy. Equivalence is the flow of energy between different parts of a person's identity, while entropy helps us find balance. The ego, which is the center of awareness, is a very important part of seeing, thinking, feeling, and remembering. Jung also came up with the ideas of introversion and extroversion, which describe how our drives show up inwardly or outwardly and shape how we think and feel. When it comes to how the mind works, thought, feeling, sensing, and intuition are all important. Sensing and intuiting are not logical, but thought and feeling are. Also, each person has one dominant attitude and goal at any given time. This, along with their different roles, makes up the 8 psychic types. The inner unconscious is a place where events that have been forgotten or pushed down are kept. Complexes are patterns of feelings, memories, thoughts, and wants that are based on certain themes. These patterns can be conscious or unconscious. Let's learn about how the mind works as we move through these psychological settings. The shared experiences of all people are saved in the collective mind and sent to each person. These shared experiences give rise to archetypes, which are recurring themes and images that shape how we see ourselves and the world. Some of the most important archetypes that shape our mind are the persona, anima, animus, shadow, and self. Jung pointed out important steps in the process of growing as a person. Psychic birth happens during puberty and helps shape a person's new personality. When people reach middle age and have achieved success, their attitudes change and their mental energy moves toward the inside world. This change sets the stage for individualization, which is when a person faces their unconscious and makes their identity more whole. Jung's view of human nature was less fixed and more hopeful than Freud's. He thought that some traits are born in a person and others are taught. Understanding yourself is still the most important thing in life. And things that happen in midlife and hopes for the future have a big effect on how a person grows. Many of Jungian's ideas, like the word association test, complexes, introversion, extroversion, self-actualization, and the midlife crisis, continue to influence how people think about psychology today. In this section, we'll talk about the amazing study results that show how Carl Jung's ideas can be used in real life. Find out how modern studies have shed light on psychological types, women's midlife crises, and the idea of individuation. Let's get to the best parts. Recent studies on personality types have found interesting patterns in how people choose jobs. It seems that introverts are often drawn to jobs in the technical and scientific fields, where they can focus on intellectual tasks alone. Extroverts, on the other hand, tend to choose jobs that require a lot of social contact, like sales, customer service, or public relations. A lot of research has shown that personality traits and academic performance are linked. Introverted, feeling, and judging types tend to get better grades in school, which shows that they pay close attention to the details and can relate to the material on an emotional level. When it comes to being happy and satisfied with life, extroverts tend to do better. Their natural desire for social involvement and interactions makes them feel good about themselves as a whole. Another interesting discovery is that, in general, introverts prefer online social contact to face-to-face contact. The internet world gives them a comfortable place to meet new people and be themselves. Research on women's midlife crises has shown interesting differences based on whether they are straight or gay. During this time, homosexual women tend to have fewer emotional problems than their heterosexual counterparts. This finding shows that a person's sexual orientation has an effect on what it's like to be in midlife. During the midlife crisis, culture can also play a role. Studies have shown that Black women often feel better about themselves in their middle years than white women do. This difference shows that cultural backgrounds and life experiences affect how people view this stage of life. Choices about work can affect how easy it is to get over a midlife crisis. Women who have independent jobs and are focused on personal growth and success tend to handle the midlife crisis better. On the other hand, people who put marriage and family first might find it harder to be happy during this time. Research has shown that the idea of individuation is true for both men and women, which goes against what people have always thought. Like men, women go on a journey of self-discovery and integration as they try to figure out who they really are and reach their full potential. As we wrap up this look at how Carl Jung's ideas are still being studied, we have a good idea of what they mean in real life. When we study psychological types, women's midlife crises, and the idea of individuation, we learn interesting things that can help us on our own paths of self-discovery and personal growth. Let's recognize the value and effects of Jungian psychology in our lives as we try to learn more about ourselves and others. May these findings make us want to do more study and help the field of psychology grow and change all the time. Remember that each new discovery gives us a chance to learn more about how difficult the mind is as we move forward. This helps us learn more about ourselves and our world.